Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome to my home. Today we are going to make one of my favorites, sun-dried tomato pesto with a cream sauce with homemade pasta. The homemade pasta is so easy, so delicious. 2 ingredients, whether you have a fancy KitchenAid attachment or a rolling pin, you are going to be able to make pasta. So let's get started. All right, so for the pasta itself, we need 2 ingredients, flour and eggs. And make sure the eggs are good quality, like an organic free-run egg, because there's only 2 ingredients, so you want to make them count. You want them to be delicious. All right, so what I want here is 200 grams. I'm at 230 around, give or take. Just like all eggs are different sizes. Try and get large eggs, but if all you have is medium, well, you can add a little water if it's dry. So to this, we're gonna add 2 eggs, 2 good quality eggs. Grab a fork and we're gonna wanna whisk that up. So as we're whisking, we just wanna bring in the flour. So whisk it all up and bring it in a little bit at a time. Just know that in a few seconds, you're gonna be getting in there with your hands, so it really doesn't make a difference. All right, just start kneading it. It's gonna be a dry dough. It's not gonna be like bread, but if you find it too dry, then just add a little bit of water. Turning it, pushing, turning, pushing. So you're pushing, you're rolling, you're pushing it out, rolling it up, pushing it out, rolling it up, until it's pretty much all the flour is gone. You can make a little ball by rolling under the edges, and it's dry enough, it's not sticky, and that's it. So we're gonna wrap that in cellophane, and it takes only 3 or 4 minutes to get this really to the right consistency. So now we're just gonna wrap it in plastic wrap, and we're gonna let it sit for half an hour. All right, so the pasta dough has rested for half an hour and it is nice and soft and smooth. You just want to flour your base that you're working on, whether you're using a KitchenAid or a handheld or rolling it out, it's all the same idea. You want to get it on a floured surface. This I'm going to break up into 3 pieces. Basically 200 grams of flour is good for 4 people. Really quite generous for people. So take one of your 3 pieces and flatten it out. You just want to make sure that it's lightly floured, and start your machine on number 1 and put that through. What you want to do is fold it a first time. So fold it like a letter. Make sure it's lightly floured. Put it through number 1 for a second time. Even a third time would be good to get it nice and stretched out. All right, so perfect. So now I'm going to put it on number 2. There we're number 4. If it doesn't need flour, then you don't have to add it. But if it starts getting sticky, you're going to be surprised at how stretchy and long this thing can get. It's quite beautiful. It's quite fun to work with, and the kids love to do it. So homemade pasta is so filling. It's not like the regular dry pasta where you can have 2 platefuls. Like after a plateful of homemade pasta, you've had enough. You're full, even though it's so delicious, and you could be a glutton. All right, so the last number 6, I find it thin enough, but thick enough that it still can withstand a nice sauce. If you're making a lasagna noodle, I also find that 6 is thin enough. Just the perfect consistency. There you go. You can almost see right through it. Add your fettuccine attachment or your spaghetti attachment, whichever you feel like using. There you go, beautiful and delicious. Now, I don't bother drying them on a rack. I just toss them lightly and leave them there. As simple as that. So you just separate them a little bit, add a little flour, and just toss them about. And if you're vegan, you can make it with just water and flour. There are parts of Italy and some of the best restaurants in the world that only use water and flour. So I find with an egg, it is much more rich, and honestly, I prefer it. So, okay, so we're just gonna let these dry and make our sauce. And by the time we're ready, they're ready. water boiling. I'm gonna salt it because I did not salt my actual pasta while I was making it. So you want it to be salty enough, like the taste of the sea. All right, so with a food processor, I want you to add basil, some peppers if you have it. If you don't, I don't always put it because I don't always have them. Some shallots or red onion, any kind that you have, or white onion, whatever you have. I had some green onion in the fridge, so I'm gonna shoot that in. And I really like things garlicky, so I'm gonna put 3 garlic cloves. Also to that, I'm gonna put sun-dried tomatoes. About 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes and about 1/4 cup of the oil. A little bit more, there you go. Maybe one more. Ooh, perfect. You really can't go wrong. Now the oil is going to be, instead of adding olive oil, if you want to add olives or walnuts, that would be great too. So let's give it a buzz. Looks perfect. All right, so pour it directly into the fry pan, a nice hot pan. You don't have to add any oil or butter because it has all that in there already. We're gonna add some black pepper. Lots of pepper, but not a lot of salt because we have salted the water, which is gonna salt the pasta, and then we're gonna finish it with some cheese. Next, we're gonna add some lemon zest. As much as you'd like, half of a lemon to a whole lemon, right? So this is just frying up the garlic, the onions, so they won't be so intense. So now, once that's been cooking a minute or two, add 1/2 cup of chicken stock and about 1/4 cup of 35% cream. Mix that together. I have some fresh basil. So that the color stays there, the freshness is there. Then just mix that in. All right, so our sauce is done. Pop in our pasta. Give it a stir. It only takes 2 or 3 minutes. Oh, so delicious. Homemade pasta, nothing beats it. It is delicious. I want you guys to give it a try. Let me know what you thought, and we will see you next Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.